Differentials rise like morning sun, chasing points, the game's begun. Big decisions week by week, fantasy glory's what we seek. Pick your squad, the clock won't wait. Captain choice will seal your fate. Two enthusiasts breaking it down. Fantasy kings, we're taking the crown.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Tinker Time, an FPL pod, the show for every fantasy Premier League manager who's already second-guessing their latest draft. It's Thursday, March 12th, 2026, and whether you're finally locked into your Gameweek 30 draft or just here to scout some differentials, you've come to the right place. I'm Matt, alongside Jim, and we're here to help you tweak, test, and yes, tinker your way to the top of your mini-league. We'll break down the best value picks, fixture trends, and hidden gems, so you don't have to stare at your squad screen in despair. So let's pop the hood, crack open the spreadsheet, and get tinkering. Jim, long time, no here. How are you?
Doing well. Glad to get back in here. Crack open the books. Get tinkering.
What have you been up to?
There's been no games played since we last spoke. Nothing to talk about, really.
Not a single game.
No.
Nothing meaningful.
No. Spring has sprung, almost.
Almost. I think we're gonna hit like 36 tomorrow. I think that's what I heard. Could be wrong, but could be right. I don't know. High of 40 tomorrow, it looks like. Yeah, not a single game was played. Very, very non-eventful few days between game
Let's
weeks.
just focus on the 8 games that we have left in front of us.
I think that's so smart. That's so smart. I actually cannot believe we are already hitting game week 30. It feels like it was just yesterday we started this.
And look how far we've come.
We are, so this is I think our 44th episode.
Wow.
That's a lot of time wasted. You could put it that way.
Is it wasted time amongst friends?
Well, I have to give a shout out to our occasional listener, Mitch Oshana. He told us the other day he's been loving our ad reads. Says it makes him smile. So, I think his exact words were, "I finished my other podcasts and I didn't have enough time on my ride to start another episode of another show that I wanted to listen to. So I popped your show on for a few minutes and I got through the ad read and it made me laugh."
That's our sweet spot. That's our demographic. That's the demographic. That's how we're number 76 in tinkering pods. Worldwide.
Well, hey, I have enjoyed this. The game weeks, the season are coming to an end very soon. I can't believe it's already March, but the fun does not stop.
Just like the Pringles.
Just like the Pringles. Speaking of fun, right? Game week 29 was obviously a little while ago, but we want to just, at least stay with the structure a little bit here. So shout out to Player of the Week, none other than João Pedro, 19 points.
Yeah.
3 goals and an assist, 3 bonus points.
For him.
I mean, I just want to talk about him for a second here. He started off the season very hot, great form, playing alongside Cole Palmer. I think we said it on the last episode, maybe the one prior to that. I don't think it's a coincidence that he's seemed to also kind of re-find his form with Cole back in the lineup. I don't know what Cole's doing to unlock him, but I mean, it was right in front of us that when Cole is healthy and he's playing, João Pedro's a great pick.
Yeah, and I held off on him last week. I wanted to get Thiago out, but I held off because Thiago had scored, and now I missed out on a huge 19-point haul.
Yeah.
You're right. It was obvious. I mean, this is 7 in a row, I think he scored.
He's been on a tear.
Yeah.
Some of the finest form that we've seen in recent weeks over these last few game weeks.
Yeah.
So, and I think the juxtaposition of our player here on our flop list, just makes it even that much harder to swallow, because for managers that have been holding on to the Viking, Erling Haaland, another blank, another useless performance. I think I actually saw he has not had a double-digit haul since I think it was either game week 16 or game week 18, something along those lines. So almost half of his season has been flop worthy.
Yeah, it's kind of fallen into where Salah was at the beginning of the season, like getting just enough to trail you along, but not getting that big haul that we've been banking on if you're leaving your captaincy on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I think that's, go ahead.
I think we kind of guessed it was going to happen. He got benched the week prior over the weekend, said he was going to be out a few weeks. A lot of people sold him. Some of us held him, and then he starts the next game week. So we thought Pep was going to pep us. Uh, he did. So Holland did get the start, but didn't score at all. So disappointing there. But I think a lot of people also still have Semenya. So
Mm. Mhm.
we're
Yeah.
waiting.
City's FPL asset trajectory and just kind of like the story of their season was, Holland was essential. When Gahey came over, I think a lot of folks still had him from Palace, and they kind of were willing to just, hey, City defense should get better. And then everyone kind of had that Phil Foden run. But then once Semenyo came in, we talked about, does this kill his fantasy value? He has not lost a beat or skipped a beat. But the thing with Holland, and I think the thing that has kept him in managers' squads for so long is just he does bring that threat. Like if he's playing in a
Yeah.
match, he could easily go snag a brace and it wouldn't surprise anyone. So, and this is, I think we're going to talk about it coming up at this game week. They've got another great fixture on paper. There should be a lot of goals. Even with City's blank in game week 31, you can't possibly be considering selling Holland this week. I think a lot of people are probably going to consider captaining him.
Yeah. But I mean, I say he is a captaincy choice, but you got to think there's other people that are. I mean, would you rather have João Pedro this week?
Well, let's not
Yeah,
spoil it. Let's not spoil it.
yeah.
We'll get to it.
There are a few other flops though.
Look, couple floppy
Yeah.
dicks.
So I
Well,
I, I grouped all of Liverpool in with flops, just coming off of their. I mean, the week prior they had a 5-2 win over West Ham. Goals all around. Ekitike looking great. McAllister, Gakpo, Van Dijk, who you were talking up. But then they go and lose 2-1 to Wolves, and we've said Wolves, defense has been better, but to lose to Wolves after the tear they've been on, I think that was disappointing for me. I know Salah did score, but it seemed like after I think they had 4 in a row. They had Sunderland, Brighton, that was FA Cup. So Sunderland, Forest, West Ham in a row, 3 wins. Thought the tides had turned, and then they go and lose. So disappointing there for people who brought Ekitike in, and really bad.
yeah.
No clean.
Yeah. I mean, Liverpool have been so hot and cold. I'm honestly very shocked at this point that Arne Slot hasn't been sacked. Like, take the midweek game into account against Galatasaray, 1-0 loss. Just like they, it's not week 4. It's not week 8. We're talking game week 30. If Arne has not figured out how to get this squad to play in a system that is effective and that takes advantage of the team's talent and skills, it's not going to happen this season. Thinking longer term, right? How much of his success last season was the club, right? He still had Trent around. I know Trent always has some injuries, so that kind of comes and goes. But, Luis Diaz was on his way out. It's like, is Arne Slot the manager for
There's
them
one other player who
going
you
forward?
consistently leave out of this.
I consistently forget Diogo Jota. Well, yeah,
Rest,
you can't really
rest in peace,
replace
Diego.
that. I'm never going to
Yeah.
recover from that. Neither will he. But, it's just one of those things where we're trying to cover up the real flop of the week. And I think we just have to address it as resident Spurs. What's the word when like you enjoy pain?
Is that a masochist?
I think it's masochist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the resident Spurs masochists here.
Tough one.
Tutor out.
Really tough one.
I mean, Are you talking about like one is in like the whole season? Are you talking about the Champions League game? Are you talking about Kinski? Are you talking? I mean,
Let's just
we
focus.
could literally
Let's just
just go on.
focus FPL. Losing to Palace, really bad. They could have had another one. They had it rolled off. I was preoccupied. I looked at my phone. I saw that we were down 1-0, and then I saw that it was ruled off. I texted you. I said, "Oh, that was lucky. That was lucky."
Yeah.
Next thing I come back in my phone, we're down 3-1, and we have a red card. What the hell?
Yeah, so that's a red card for Van de Ven, so he's going to be out. It was a straight red because it was denial of a goal scoring opportunity, they deemed. I believe Romero still has one more match. I could be
I
wrong.
think
We can double check that. But that basically leaves Kevin Danzo, which nice guy. You know,
yeah,
I would invite him over for like a beer on 4th of July and like, he can have a burger or something. He's not a Premier League starting caliber center back. He's just not. Um, and then you've got Radu, who he's in the wrong country. He needs to go back to Italy or something and play. He's just
yeah.
he can't be playing meaningful
And you're starting
minutes.
19-year-old Souza.
Yeah, I mean these lineup selections, these squad selections by Tudor have been absolutely mind-boggling. 3-4-3. I mean, I was listening actually to the Jamie O'Hara interview the morning after the whole debacle during the midweek game for Champions League, and he was basically just like, if Spurs have not sacked this guy and they've had a night to sleep on it,
Yeah,
what are they doing? Who is making the decisions at this club? Let me ask you this right now, Jim. Do you miss Daniel Levy? But the fact that you had to even pause just is like the
no,
perfect
because
illustration of how far down the gutter we have
yeah,
just dripped. And I mean, it's disgusting.
yeah, yeah. But it wouldn't be fair to not run through the injuries. So right now we have Udoki's out, Spence is out. No, Spence is out. Davies is out. Madison's out. Kulishevsky's out. Bentancur's out. Kudus is out. Odebear's out with long-term injuries. Like they're not coming back until next season.
Right. Side note, have you heard the conspiracy on the Kulusevski injury?
No.
We can maybe talk about it off ep because I don't know if it gets into the political realm here,
Well,
but
let's hear it.
okay. So the conspiracy is that when he was back at Juve, he actually started taking hormones because he was uncomfortable in his body. And because of the hormones, this this knee injury is not healing the way that it would normally heal or the way they would expect it to. Um, I mean, obviously, this has to be satire because it's so ridiculous. But there was like they were saying that the only way that the club could be saved this year is if they release this news, uh, because it's the only thing that could possibly cover up the dumpster fire that is this season.
I could see that.
Yeah,
Is that why I've seen all the pictures of him, like, flying coach on a plane to Spain for treatment? I could see that.
yeah. We don't know, Jim. We don't know. We don't know. See that I feel like I kept that pretty politically clean.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
we're enthusiasts.
we're just breaking it down. So listen,
Let's move on.
I hear
Let's
you on
move
the
on.
injuries. I hear you on the injuries. We're gonna talk a little bit, I think, relegation maybe if we have a little time.
Yes.
But yeah. Let's look at something a little brighter. So, team of the week, rounding out the rest of the team. So we had 139 points total overall for the team of the week. We had Mr. Elborg over at Sunderland with 10 points, filling in for the injured Rofs. Nice job for him.
Yeah.
Um, big haul for defenders this week. So Tarkowski with a 15-pointer, Timber and Gabriel with 13 and 11 points respectively in that win. Senesi with an 11-pointer, just been a beast all season. Midfield, so we went 4-5-1, I should have said. Ismail Yassar, a couple of goals, 15 points. Andre, I think the guy who makes the champagne over at Wolves with a 12-pointer.
Brute.
Elliot Anderson, that son of a bitch, another 12 points, just consistent, seems to keep churning it out.
Yeah.
Somerville over at West Ham. Do you know his first name without looking it up?
Spring.
Close enough, with 11 points. And then Adam Morton with a 10-pointer for Palace, before João Pedro rounds it out at 19. So another extremely affordable team. If you had all these players, you're incredible. If you had a couple of them, which I feel like a lot of people probably had at least two, maybe three.
Not this guy.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. You've had a good run. You can't really complain.
Yeah, I'm cooling off.
Speaking of cooling off, do you want to go through our teams real quick?
Yeah. So I'm on 41 points. So really, really poor week for me. Um, the problem is my defense. So O'Reilly was flagged going into the week because he got a knock over the weekend. He didn't play. And Saliba, this is now what, 2 and 3 that he hasn't played? Or
They're saving them for Champions League.
2 in the last 4 he hasn't played. He screwed me. So those 2. So I had Keane and Esteve sub in. Keane I gotta get rid of because he's not starting and he's killing me. I was hoping to cash in on them, but Tarkowski's getting all the points. I also had Van de Ven on my bench. He got subbed in and he obviously got the -3.
Eek.
Yeah. So then my midfield, Semenyo, Rice, Palmer, Dewsbury Hall. So those got all my points essentially. And then Thiago, Ekitike, and Holland up top. And I had captained Ekitike after his big game week prior, which is probably why I threw him in the flop, just because I was pissed.
Mm.
Yeah, I need to sort out my defense. It's been killing me here. Not good.
Mm.
But we move on.
You were bound to have a slight blip, but I don't think this is going to hold you down. I think you're going to rise from the ashes
Bound too, just like
moving forward.
Kanye.
Which Kanye? All right, so I was
I like
on
that.
68 points. I want to come, motherfucker. 68 points. I needed this week actually. I almost actually hit on everyone if I had picked my captaincy a little better. So Kelleher decided to come back from having his kids. Nice little 6-pointer there. I mentioned Timber and Gabriel in the back line. James Hill, who we talked about over at Bournemouth with an 8-pointer, needed that. Mark Gahey blanked with only 1 point, so I hate that for me. Midfield, Bruno Fernandes gave me 8 points, Semenyo with 7. Ryan Gravenberch, who was I don't know, I picked him in game week 28 and I ended up hitting. This week he only played 45 minutes and he got a yellow card. So that's a pure 0, which you got to hate.
Tough to see the 0.
Palmer with 9 points, Krupi Jr. with 1, and then Holland with 4, who I gave the armband to. So that really hurt. So if I had, maybe picked a better captaincy, I could have had a really good game week, but I'll still take 14 points over the average. And I didn't roll any, I rolled all my transfers this week. So I'll be going into next week with some choices to make with 2 transfers.
Who did I?
We'll see.
I don't even remember. Who did I bring in? Oh, I brought in Ekitike.
Well, that
Yeah.
that could be the move. You might have just been a week early. We'll talk about
Yeah.
it. Rounding out the points for the week, so we actually crushed Lord Tinkerton this week. So he's on 39 points,
Loser.
which is crazy. So he had Verbruggen in back with 2 points, Chris Richards with 4, which I'm so curious to see where Chris Richards sits in like the overall point rank, because I feel like he just churns out like 4-pointers every time he plays whatever. 11 points, Branthwaite, like the pick out of nowhere with a 6-pointer. Midfield of Dango Unchained with 3 points, Ryan Cherky with a 5-point haul, Florian Wirtz with a blank, didn't play, and Morgan Rogers with 1 point, who has cooled off, as Villa has cooled off as well. Front line of Raul, Ekitike, and Holland with 1, 2, and 4 points respectively. He didn't have a single point on his bench outside of Dubravka, who had 2 points. So nice to really stick it to the AI this week, dumbass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're so smug using
Um,
all those transfers.
What an idiot. And speaking of, just rounding out the points. So captain's draft this week, I know we didn't have an episode, but we did on record text back and forth. So I had first pick. I picked Semenyo, who gave me 7 points, and you chose Ekitike, who gave you 2 points. So the score now stands Jim with 86 points and Matt with 80. So a nice little tight race coming into the
Closing the gap.
final leg of the season here. Yeah.
Closing the gap.
Ekatike really kind of just stunk it up this week.
What are you
Yeah.
gonna do?
I mean, he really stunk. I mean, he was like if he sat in a car,
Oh, it would linger.
I think it would probably linger like really bad, Jim.
Well, it's funny because this episode is actually brought to you by the smelly car. It's not just a scent. It's not an aroma. It's an entity. It's a biological weapon disguised as a 1993 BMW 525i, and it was delivered to you by the one person you're supposed to trust with your keys, the valet. We've all dealt with a little new car smell, or maybe you've left a gym bag in the trunk for a weekend. But this is BO, beyond the limits of science. This is a smell so potent, so aggressive that it doesn't just sit in the upholstery, it attacks. It attaches itself to your clothes. It weaves itself into your hair. You walk in a room and people don't say hello. They say, "What is that? Am I smelling a person? Am I smelling a beast?" It's the smell that destroyed a relationship. It's the smell that forced Elaine to wash her hair with tomato juice like she was sprayed with by a sentient skunk. It's a smell so resilient that even a professional detailer, a man who cleans cars for a living, took one whiff and said, "I can't help you. You need to abandon the vehicle. You need to leave it in a street corner with the keys to the ignition and pray that somebody's desperate enough to steal it." But nobody steals it. Even the criminals have nostrils. And a theft-proof car, it's a theft-proof car just because it's a life-proof car. I don't know what that means. So before you hand your keys to a man who looks like he hasn't showered since the bicentennial, ask yourself, is the convenience of a valet parking worth the permanent loss of your social life? Visit thebeastinthebackseat.com and use code Tinker. Pine Tree air freshener that will do absolutely nothing to help you. That's thebackseat.com. Code Tinker. Smelly car. It's not a smell. It's a lingering.
Oof.
That was a tricky one.
That was so again, just to be clear, and they probably won't pay us the full amount there because I think you fumbled a couple of words,
Yeah.
but that's okay. I think this is an ad for an air freshener.
I don't know what the beast in the backseat.
That was my nickname in college. All right. Okay. Anything else on game week 29, or should we shut the door on
Yeah,
it
let's slam
officially?
it. Slam it close.
Okay. Okay. So game week 30 is around the corner. Deadline is actually on Saturday, the 14th of March, at 9:30 Eastern. So no early fixture, um, which kind of stinks, right? Games don't start till 11 a.m. I guess to be fair, there's a lot of college basketball on this weekend. So maybe if you're up late on Friday night watching some of those conference tournaments, then maybe you don't mind a little bit of a later start to the FPL slate.
Maybe. It is nice to be able to wake up and see any last minute team news to help you.
That's true.
But
That's true. That's
me, I
true.
have nothing to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got the slate of fixtures. Maybe we can run through it super quick and then we can kind of see what stands out. So like I said, Saturday, no fixtures until 11 a.m. Eastern, so 9:30 deadline. Kicking off that 11 a.m. slot, we've got Burnley hosting Bournemouth. We've got Sunderland hosting Brighton. And then at 1:30 Eastern, we've got Arsenal hosting Everton and Chelsea hosting Newcastle before a 4 p.m. fixture. We don't see that too often on a Saturday,
Yeah.
hosting City. So what stands out to you on Saturday, Jimbo?
I mean, it's got to be the top of the table. So Arsenal, you know, good good opportunity to get 3 points here. Everton they've been hot or cold all season. I mean, I think that's safe to say. They had a big win last week. Obviously, Tarkowski did well, and Dewsbury Hall, since he's been back from injuries, doing well. But I think this is one that they got to keep pace with, or keep the lead here at
Mm,
home, especially before City have a blank. Yeah, I wouldn't say for an FPL perspective I'd be targeting Arsenal, but I think that'll be a good one to watch.
Yeah, Everton right now are sitting in eighth place in the table on 43 points.
Yeah.
If they win this game, right, 46 would put them in sole possession of seventh, which now you're knocking on European football. This is a club that, was it what, 2 seasons ago? They were firmly in a relegation battle. They were saved by the Brazilian hero,
I
Richarlison.
think 2 and 3. Like, it's been a consistent
Yeah,
relegation.
yeah. So good for them to be relevant.
That's the hope that we'll have one day.
Let me ask you, do you think the title is sealed at this point for Arsenal?
So, and I think this was one of our mailbag questions. I think moving on to the later game, I think this is a must win for City.
Mm.
They've been slipping, losing some easy ones or drawing some easy games as of late. If they don't beat West Ham, who is in a relegation battle, and they let Arsenal go up before they have a blank next week, I think that's like yes, points wise it'll be what, 12 points?
They're up 7 right now with a game in hand, so let's assume it's 4.
Well, say
I would
I'm saying if Arsenal win and City lose, that's 10 points
Oh,
going.
right.
I mean, that's like psychologically, that's a huge gap to overcome. So I
Right.
think City is a must win for City going into the blank here to keep morale up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously we had midweek football. Fede Valverde just kind of gave it to City, and it could have been worse. I think Donnarumma had a penalty save as well. So, coming off a shorter game week, I guess you could say Arsenal also had. I know that they didn't. Who did they play this week in midweek? A Bayern, Leverkusen. I think it was a 1-1 draw. I want to say Kai Havertz saved them with a penalty late, which was an atrocious call. I don't know if you saw in the highlight.
I did not.
Madueke basically just like tripped over his own
Oh,
feet
yes, I did
in the
see that. I
box.
did see.
Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. But we're not talking about that. So yeah, I mean, bringing it back to the Saturday
VAR
fixture, I agree
reviewed it
with you.
and then confirmed the bad call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can't keep getting away with this. But no, I agree with you. I think City has to win this game. Um, I I'm very interested to see though. They're going to know the result, to your point, whether Arsenal took 3-1 or they dropped points. So, obviously, I don't think that changes Pep's game plan going into that game. But if they are down, do you see maybe like a Marmouche come on? Like, do you see them kind of going for it a little bit more, knowing that maybe they have to win the game? Or I'm just bringing it up because there are also the second legs of the Champions League games next week.
Uh, I think that I think being down 3-0 to Real means they're gonna be not let West Ham off. That
Mm,
I mean, that's, really difficult to come back from that. I mean, even at home, they can't fill their stadium, usually for big games. So it's I don't know. I don't wanna say it's, they're gonna write off Champions League, but you gotta look at the writing on the wall that it's gonna be near impossible to come back from that. And
right.
you can't overlook a relegation team that you should, bury this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, they could also look at it and say, and I don't think they're going to do this, but they could also look at it and say, well, if we let West Ham kind of not let, but if we keep them in the game, right, that actually does more damage to Spurs. Does that help City in the longer term? Because maybe there's some players that Spurs would be looking to sell. I don't know, right?
That's a ridiculous.
I mean, if I'm Forest, West Ham, and Leeds, I might be having a little phone call to figure out, how can we get Spurs out of this?
We'll see. I
Yeah, I
really
don't
hope
know.
that's
The other thing I think just to call out on this, so Chelsea Newcastle is an interesting fixture because I think that one has like 2-2 written all over it. But I don't think you don't think so?
no, I was agreeing.
Okay. It looked like you maybe got a little gas.
Always.
I feel like you cannot ignore the form that João Pedro has been in. Like, even though on paper, maybe you wouldn't necessarily target this fixture, if you're thinking of, who to bring in this week and you're getting ahead of the game with playing game week 31, do you bring in a João Pedro for this? I mean, the other option maybe is Ekatike, right? And they're going to play on Sunday against Spurs, who have been letting goals in left and right since Tudor came in.
Yeah.
But I mean, is there any consideration for bringing in João Pedro for this fixture if you don't have him already?
Yeah, I could see that. Who let me just look at who Chelsea have after. So they have Newcastle, then Everton, then City, then United. I think if you're
That's why I'm saying, like, the form is hard to ignore.
the form, yeah. At the same time, and I know this is the half glass half empty. He scored what, 7 games in a row?
That's
That's
that's what I'm referencing.
no, but I'm saying that's not sustainable, right? Like even Haaland can't do
Correct.
that.
I
So
agree.
yes, the form is there. The form always flips at some point, and you don't want it to be flipping. You don't want it to be flipping when you're up against, so the powerhouses. So if you're looking to, if you are selling Holland, I could see you getting him in. If you're getting off of, I don't even know who will,
I'm trying to get off of whoever I can.
If you, Tiago, Tiago.
You seem like you're a little bit choked up tonight, Jimbo. Is everything okay on
You
your
ruling
end?
out Tiago? Yeah, I guess you could bring him in. Yeah, I, I guess he's worth bringing in because there's nobody that's better. Every else here
That's
stinks.
Everyone stinks this year. Exactly. All right. I will spare you the rest of this nonsense. Let's move on to Sunday. So Sunday we've got 4 fixtures. Again, nothing super early, no 8 a.m. fixture. So we've got everything. First 3 are at 10 a.m. So we got Palace hosting Leeds, Man United hosting Villa, Forest hosting Fulham before the marquee fixture of the day, Liverpool hosting the club formerly known as Tottenham Hotspur, Europa League champions. What do you think here, Jimbo?
So I think that one that I'm having a really hard time reading is United Villa. They're both teams that they've been good, but who do you trust? I mean, apart from Bruno, you don't trust either team defensively, and you don't really trust anybody on Leeds or sorry, on Villa from the attacking sense. That's going to be consistent. So that one I'm having a really hard time reading as a non-Embuemo, non-Bruno owner. I'm hoping for a blank, but what do you think? Which way is that one going to go?
I gotta be honest, like I'm looking at for some reason it felt like Villa was in worse form than they maybe actually had
They're in
been.
fourth place.
They've lost well, they've lost their last 2, only 1 win in their last 5, but only 2 losses in their last 5. When you look at United though, they've won 3 they've won 3 out of their last 5. They've only lost 1 out of their last 5. So, I mean, on paper, right, United have been in the better form. I like Bruno in this game at home. He seems to have really kind of figured something out with Carrick being as caretaker. I think United win this one comfortably. But it's interesting to your point because this is they call it a 6-pointer, right? Because like you're able to jump here. Um, I'm also just like, as we're talking about this, I'm just staring at the table and I just cannot believe that United's in 3rd place with a plus 11 goal differential. Villa is in 4th with a plus 5 differential. And Chelsea's in 5th with 48 points on a plus 19 differential. I feel like this is the weakest table we've seen in years.
Everybody's very inconsistent.
Ugh,
It's very
awful.
streaky. I mean, these two are the perfect examples, right? Villa had an awesome start to the season on paper. They couldn't do anything, and then rattled off like 11 in a row, in, like November, right? And then
Yeah.
United have been, you know, they looked great to start, but couldn't put anything away. They had a cold streak. Carrick comes in, they're looking fantastic. So I don't know. It's a tough matchup. I think it'll be a good game to watch. I just don't know from an FPL perspective
Mm,
what to do.
yeah. I mean, to be very honest, I feel like I'm watching the Forest game because I'm locked into
Yeah.
this relegation battle. I'm locked in. I mean, Fulham, whenever we play them, turn into, 100 goal scoring Man City. They always seem to just cream pie us. But
Harry
I
Wilson.
couldn't even say it. Um, But yeah, I mean the fixture here to watch is the Man
Yeah.
United versus Villa game. Now Liverpool Tottenham. Let's break this down a little bit. So Liverpool, we said, just the kings of inconsistency, hot and cold this season. Slot hasn't really figured it out. Bertz wasn't playing last game week; he was injured. Salah's been a shell of himself this season. Ekatike's been a bright spot, but he's got to be on the pitch to do that. Spurs have essentially no back line. Not that even when they have a healthy back line or a non-suspended back line, it's much of a back line. I mean, I'm a little nervous for this one, Jimbo. I think this one could get really ugly really quick.
Yeah. I think Liverpool players are captaincy targets here. Worth bringing in Ekatike, worth bringing in Salah, especially if you're going to sell Holland. Definitely get Salah in. Probably a defender too, because Spurs can't score really. So I'm expecting, yeah, it's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
But as a
Yeah.
Ekatike owner, I'm pleased.
Well, that's what I wanted to. I mean, we can kind of bleed into the segment because I think Monday's fixture, and I probably should have just lumped it in. So Monday we've got Brentford and Wolves at 4 p.m. Eastern here. I think Brentford this season, I've got Kelleher on my team, so I can't really say anything too bad about them. But like Wolves have been playing better as of late. In their last five, Wolves only have one loss, two wins, two draws. Quietly have been kind of just being a pest over the last 5 game weeks.
Brentford, 2 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss though, so they were also a hell of a season they're having. I mean, Damsgaard's been looking great. Jada's been looking great. Thiago Pen Merchant, but yeah, I don't know. This will be another tricky one to. I mean, if you're gonna bring in somebody from either team, it'd probably be Ouattara or Damsgaard. Most people would probably have Thiago. So if you're looking
Mm.
to move in, I'd say it's probably Brentford midfielders. But yeah,
I have a name on a list there that I feel like you're not mentioning,
oh yeah,
Mr. Sade, Kevin.
yeah. I feel like he just hasn't been as consistent as the other two, has he?
Well, he came off the red card.
Earlier in the season, maybe he was, and I'm recency bias here.
He's just, I think, honestly, a phenomenal differential too. I mean, we're going to talk differentials as we normally do. I don't know. I mean, if I had to pick right now between Dango and Sade, I think I'd probably lean Sade.
I don't know about that.
Oh,
I,
we can agree
no,
to disagree.
I'm just pulling up their set piece takers here.
Okay. What do you got?
Sade's behind Thiago on pens.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
neither of them are on free kicks, and neither of them are on corners. So,
Yeah.
oh well.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting play. I mean, there was a little while there where like Django's minutes weren't even guaranteed, even though he was kind of their like marquee signing going into the season. It seemed like I have to. So I don't know. That was always a little bit strange, but um, yeah, I don't know. Listen,
Listen,
this fixture kind of meaningless. Brentford. I mean, I take it back. I shouldn't say that. Brentford right now are sitting in seventh.
Brentford
They're on
are
44
pushing.
points. Well, they're in competition for a European spot.
Yeah.
Liverpool's 4 points ahead of them, so it's not like they're gonna do any, jumps, but they gotta at least keep pace with Everton and Bournemouth this week, assuming that they're able to maybe snag a point here or there. So, yeah, I guess Brentford do have something to play for here. Wolves just playing spoiler, just playing spoiler.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now that we've gone through the slate, I mean, we talked a little bit about it. Captaincy picks. Who are you looking at? Give me your top captaincy pick this week, Jimbo.
So I think I mentioned it there. I think it's Liverpool. I think it's I'd say Ekatike just because probably more people have him and he's easier to get to. But Salah is probably right there. I could see Spurs giving up a penalty if we're playing all these youngsters, especially in the back.
Mm.
So I think either one of those. I know it's a double pick. I'm gonna probably go Ekatike myself because I have him. So I'll do that.
Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, I think it's I'm probably falling into the trap, and I said it already, but I think I cannot look past a team with a player like this one that is playing a team that is in a relegation battle that has let in a league leading 54. Ah, damn it, I misspoke. 54 goals this season.
54.
Burnley's let in 58. 54 men. Um, I mean, this one just has goals written all over it. As long as Holland's playing, which
Yeah.
we can, yeah, I mean, even if he gets 60 minutes, he could easily go out there and get a first half brace.
Yeah. Easily.
I think don't overthink this one sometimes. Like Ekatike, in theory, I mean, he already had 2 goals against Spurs. So that one, I think it makes sense. You could easily see that. Spurs have a very short back line. So on corners, yeah, Ekatike is going to be in there.
I think you meant to say very shitty backline.
Yes. Shitty back line as well. Short shitties.
Shitty walk.
What do you got for like a third differential captaincy pick?
Like a fun one.
Yeah, have some fun with it.
Honestly, I could see Harry Wilson being a.
Isn't he flagged?
Is he?
I think he's flagged right now. Can we confirm that?
Please hold.
He is flagged.
Take it back then.
Okay. Have a little less fun with it. He's got an ankle injury, 75% chance of playing.
Oh, he'll play.
If he knows what's good for him. Yeah. I feel like my eyes right now are looking at Bruno Fernandes. I think he's been in great form. It just feels like anytime United score a goal, he's involved, whether it's the penalty, the goal itself, the assist. Like, it feels like United aren't going to
Yeah.
score without Bruno Fernandes attached on that score sheet. I think the fun one, though, in all honesty, I think it's João Pedro.
That's a fun one, but it's like you're like on, you're hoping you're not jinxing it. So I don't know.
Well, yeah,
You're riding the
yeah. I mean, it's purely
you're
fun.
riding the hot hand, but you don't want to be the one to jinx it.
Sometimes you got to know when to double your bet, and sometimes you got to know when to quadruple it. We don't have bets here. We just go bigger.
That's true.
But this one be a little less big. Speaking of big,
Maybe call me crazy here. Your guy Alex Iwobi.
okay, wait, what was his? He had a
He's
haul
actually
like
he's actually
a
been
week
in
ago.
pretty good form.
Ever since I kind of got on my soapbox, I made out just
He had 2 points last week.
expressed my love for him.
2 points last week, but he had 10 points against Spurs and then 13 points against Sunderland. So against the bottom of the table, he's looked great, and he's playing for us this week. So not a
He knows he's gonna start. He always starts.
not a bad pick.
We're enthusiasts. All right, let's keep it moving here. So we've got captain's draft. You're on 86 points. I'm on 80. Is your pick this week to pick first?
I will double down on Ekatike after last week.
Wow. Okay, let me lock it in. I think I am going to go with Timber.
What?
He's had 3 attacking returns in his last 3.
Dewsbury Hall, my man. He's gonna knock him back.
Well, that would be quite the differential. Speaking of differentials, so we're going back to our old format here. So I'm going to give you 3 differentials in no particular order. I want you to give me who you would pick or rank those 3 based on who you're most likely to select. Okay?
Okay,
Are you ready?
ready?
Okay. Keepers. So we've got Petrovic, Donnarumma, and Sells. So Petrovic this week playing Burnley. Donnarumma obviously playing West Ham, and Sells playing Fulham. Who do you like?
I would go Petrovic, Donnarumma, Sells in that order. Bournemouth,
Yeah.
I mean, Burnley stink.
They've led in the most goals, but this is about preventing goals.
I know, but they can't score either. West Ham scare me more so because of Bowen and Tati.
Mm,
Yeah. So I go Petrovic first, Donnarumma second, and then Sells third. Wait, Sells
yeah.
injured last week? No, Rose was in.
Did he get injured last week? No,
Rose.
Rovs. That's
Yeah.
Rovs. Rovs.
Yeah.
Um, okay. In a similar vein, moving on to defenders. So we've got James Hill at 4.2 mil, only owned by 7.4%. Daniel Ballard over at Sunderland, priced at 4.6. And Anderson, Joaquim for Fulham at 4.5. So another Bournemouth, another Fulham. We're bringing in a Sunderland defender this time.
So Bournemouth is playing
Burnley.
Burnley. I'd go Hill first, and spoiler, I've been looking to bring him in this week myself.
Mm,
I go Anderson second and Ballard third. Ballard, they've just been so inconsistent. I wouldn't want to make a transfer to bring him in.
yeah.
If he was like a second player that I needed to move some funds around, I could see it, but I wouldn't make a move just for him. Anderson wouldn't be my first choice to bring in a full defender, but he used to be good. He used to be great.
I think he's a DEFCON beast. I think if you actually look at his numbers this season, he's been pretty consistent. You know, at that price point, 4.5 mil to get 90 minutes and to get a DEFCON maybe half the time, which is really all you want. Moving on to midfielders. So this one's going to be a little more juicy. We got Gakpo, Saka, and Gibbs White, former Spur.
Sorry, let me look here. Gakpo, is he gonna start?
He's been starting, I think, every game for slot.
Not when Wirtz got the starting spot though, right? But then Wirtz was injured.
No, I'm pretty sure Gakpo has started like almost every game this season. So let's assume he's starting. Let's assume he's
I'd
starting.
go Gakpo first, Saka second, Gibbs White third, but second and third are very close for me.
Mm.
Kind of a coin cost there. Coin cost.
The twin costs. Oh boy, we've hit that point of the up. Okay. Yeah, Gakpo priced at 7.3 mil, only owned by 6%. Saka priced at 9.8, only owned by 8.1%, which is a little bit surprising, I think, at this point in the season. If you had asked me at the beginning of the season, especially coming off of that double game week, you would have thought his ownership would have been a little higher, but he was injured. And then Gibbs White priced at 7.3, only owned by 3.9%. Gibbs White has been putting the goals in the last few weeks, so he's actually been in pretty good form. So, but okay. Okay. Moving on to forwards. So we've got Benny Seshko at 7.3 mil, only owned by 6%. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, priced at 5.7 mil, owned by 9%. And Raul Jimenez, your boy, Mexicano, priced at 6.2 mil, only owned by 2.9%. Hey, gringo.
Mamma mia. This is a tricky one.
This is a tricky one.
I go Raul first,
Mm,
just because I'm rooting against Forest. Jesko second, and Calvert-Lewin
okay.
third. Lewin's been cold ever since we exposed him for only scoring goals in the straight line there.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I like that. I think to me, Sesko was immediately ruled out just because he's not on penalties. It seems like he's been subbing and getting some goals, but I do think he's probably going to get the start this week. I think I saw a report that he's going to but they paid a lot of money for him. He should be starting these games.
True.
But DCL has just been a pest all season. Every time I feel like we write him off, he comes back and he puts one in from the same exact spot on the pitch. Raul Jimenez, he's playing with half a brain, and he just seems to be, consistent, getting minutes on penalties. So, yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, so just rounding it out. So your top picks, you've got Petrovic in goal, you've got Hill in the back,
Mhm.
you've got midfield, you went Gakpo
When Gakpo,
first, if he starts.
assuming he starts.
Okay. And then your first pick for forwards was Raul
Raul.
Jimenez.
See.
All right.
See.
Check those out. We'll see how they do. All right. So we did have a couple of mailbox questions this week. I know we kind of hit on them a little bit, but the first one, just to kind of circle back. I mean, anything else to add to the conversation around, is this a must-win for City?
No, I think for me, it's an easy yes.
I think we agree on that. Next question: did Brentford hoodwink Spurs by dumping Frank Haas?
What do you think?
You want to open this one up?
I'd say so. I mean, they're sitting 7th in the league, haven't missed a beat. I mean, what a year they're having, and then we dumped Frank probably months after we could have, but, you know, he made it halfway through the season, say. That's unbelievable. I forget how much we paid to get him over here, but
It's like 10 million a season, I think,
we're
something
just
like that.
blowing money on managers here, and
Oh my God, they print money over at that stadium. Give me a break. Listen, I have some thoughts on this because I think it's a fair question to ask, but I think there's a lot of context behind it, right? So let's look at Brentford this season. Largely, they are playing their first choice team. I don't think they've had really any major injuries for most of the season.
true.
You look at what Thomas Frank was brought in to do, right? I don't think now we can look at this with a little less emotion after it's been a couple of weeks. He didn't come in and expect to play a lot of these players. Now, granted, the injuries are what they are, and every team's going to have injuries and you have to adapt. But we didn't really get to see him with a James Madison as talisman or Kulusevski out on the right. We're working with Kolomuani, who doesn't even really want to be here. We're working with Jody Simmons, who is still not at this point, but was acclimating to the league. You've got a midfield that is depleted. Get to see Frank manage and coach the team that I think he probably expected he would have at this point in the season. So that is
True.
all of that being said. I also think Frank was probably brought in to provide some stability coming off of a trophy last season, but also grow and foster a certain culture, a certain environment, a certain standard for the club to kind of bring them back to, let's say, relevancy, right? Spurs are irrelevant right now. They're a laughing stock, even more Spursy than Spursy has been in the past.
Earliest ever St. Tottenham's Day.
You can't, I think, so the question of did they fleece us or did they hoodwink us? I don't know if you can say that. Like, does Brentford look good this season just because they're healthy? Like, do you really think that the Spurs squad, if healthy,
I think
doesn't eclipse 44 points by
I
now?
think the question is, was Frank as good of a manager as we thought, or is the Brentford squad that good? They lost Frank, they lost Vissa, they lost Mbeumo, and they're in 7th place.
In a historically bad season across the board.
Well, you play who you play.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. It's mind-boggling. Like Spurs have a -7 goal differential. Romero's had what, 2 suspensions this
Mhm.
season. Van de Ven's is suspended right now. You've got Jed Spence, who's a right back, playing on the left because of Idoga's injuries. It's just it is a total mess. I guess maybe I'm answering a different question, to be fair. But I think to your point, the question is, did Brentford hoodwink us? Yes, of course,
Yeah.
because he's not our manager right now. We
Well,
we have, by definition, we have lost on that deal. It set us back at least this season. We hope that it doesn't set us back all of next season or even the season after, because I think we're on the same page. If Spurs go down, I don't think they're coming up next season. I think it's going to be a couple seasons before they come back.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay. And then one other question, because we really haven't talked much about it. I mean, chip strategy the rest of the way. I know you've got all of your chips still. I mean, have you put any consideration into what you're planning on doing over these next 8 game weeks with 4 chips
I'm going to free hit next week.
in 31?
Free hit in 31, that way I don't have to do anything with my City and Arsenal players.
Mm.
And then I'm hoping we'll have some more insight as to doubles after that, and I'll take it from there. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking like game week 33 is going to be the next double game week. So, yeah, to your point, I think if you have that free hit in 31, it's a great time to let it rip. The possible game week in 36 and 30, 37, I think is what I'm looking at if I'm seeing here. It doesn't really look that great on paper for some of the bigger clubs. So,
Yeah.
like, yes, a double game week is nice, and you want to usually, do the wild card before, so then you could bench boost after. But if the fixtures aren't great, then maybe it means a little bit less. But I mean, at a minimum, make sure you use all your chips before the season is up. You can't take them with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna use that, and then I'll wild card probably 33, 34 timeline.
Mm.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's more interesting than what I can do because I've already used my wild card. I'm trying to avoid blank game week 31 free hit, I think, because I think I'd rather save it for a double game week if I like it, just because I don't have my wild card. So I'm not sure. I got to see what happens. I think there's some FA Cup and then also what happens in Champions League the week after that might have some impact on who's going to be available and whatnot. So gotta hold. So, okay. I think that's it for mailbox here. As far as AI team goes, Jimbo, he didn't do anything. Classic. Just cannot figure things out. So, I mean, any other things that you are worth mentioning this week? This was a mega ep.
A good mega app. Yeah. Um, you want to just talk our moves this week? I think I mentioned I got to move Keen out. He's not been playing for me, so I'm probably gonna do Hill, bank some cash, going into my free hit next week, and then take it from there.
You know, yeah, I'm in kind of the same boat. I think I'm going to roll this week. So I'm going to go Kelleher in the back four of Timber, Hill, Gabriel, and Gahey. Four in the midfield, Bruno Fernandez, Semenyo, Gravenberg, and Palmer, with a front two of Krupi and Holland, with Holland getting the armband at the moment. I'm debating if I want to start stock over Krupi, but that Burnley fixture, I mean, that's just really, really too good to pass up. So I think I'm pretty locked in, unless pressers come out and someone's got some injuries. Interesting enough. Just taking a quick look at Enzo Fernandez going down, and then also Mudryk, classic. And we can end on Mudryk's price drop. That being said, I want to thank everyone for joining us as always. Keep in mind that deadline is on Saturday at 9:30 Eastern. And as always, if you made it this far, please go drop us a like, subscribe, follow on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, drop us a comment. What are you thinking for chip strategy the rest of the way out? What did you do during your extended FPL break? We love to know that stuff. And it is getting close. It is almost too late to join our mini league, but we'll still put the code in the description. And as always, thank you for joining us on Tinker Time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, drop your captain pick in the comments. We will see you at the end of game week 30. And until then, happy tinkering.
Draft dreams rise like morning sun, chasing points, the game's begun. Big decisions week by week, fantasy glory's what we seek. Pick your squad, the clock won't wait, captain choice will seal your fate. Two enthusiasts breaking it down, fantasy kings, we're taking the crown.